Hi there, my name is RM Francis, and this evening I was meant to be doing a reading for City Voices in Wolverhampton, which is one of the longest standing live literature events in the region, and it's run by Simon Fletcher and the gang at Offers Press, all of whom have been really good to me over the years. And it's a real shame that it's not happening. But I thought I'd string together a little bit of a video in the absence of the live event. So this one is for City Voices, which should have been at Lighthouse in Wolverhampton this evening. And I'm going to start today, instead of reading directly from Bella, I'm going to read a poem from the Poetry of the Black Country that was put out by Offers Press last year, the year before, I can't remember now. Wow, 3 years ago. It was put out 3 years ago, and it was edited by Wolverhampton's Poet Laureate Emma Pursehouse and Simon Fletcher from Offers Press, and the late, great Dave Reeves. So I'm going to read a poem from this brilliant anthology of Black Country poetry, available from the Offers Press website and all good book outlets. This is called Our End. Adam loved it down our end. We had VHS and Betamax and went to Nan's Caravan every half term. And we had Belly Draft, which wore a posh cut then. And Dad took us to judo on a Friday and our shell did tap. And there was woods at the back of the houses where we'd play cowboys. And there was that one time we'd found a porno and I was too young to know. And we did rope swing over the Stour until the Quarry Bonk Gang turned up. Then it would be back to Dean's and Don't Tell the Moms, but we watched Rawhead Rex while I was drinking cider on the drive. And if it ain't raining, tomorrow's I'm racing Paul down Grayling Road, but I'm letting him win 'cause Louise is watching, and the boys know, but the wenches do. Adam loved it down our end, 'cause he didn't have any brothers, and his house was up by all the old uns like Wendy and Frank, who never gid our balls back. His dad had been seen stuff in Bosnia, his mom had a gammy leg. Dad'd get excited and we'd end up in the shit with someone, but we was a gang and you digress, and you still do. Andy wore part of it. He come from Lakeside and he'd get how you got by with only last year's Mega Drive. And I think that's why he grassed years later after he took the piss out of Dipak for having high-tech trainers. Dipak struck back. His brother had been a boxer, so he knew to keep arm relaxed and fist tight. He took Andy by surprise, but somehow he'd learn him. Adam loved it down our end. His mum was older than ours, so he'd do the shop each week. And it was in the frozen aisle with a pork joint in his ons when Andy thought he was a pushover and made a deal out of his everyday beans and savers, flakes and sheets of coupons. Adam loved it down our end. Our Manda looks out for him now as a locks up cells at HMP Featherstone. Thank you very much. The Poetry of the Black Country, Offers Press. And now on to what I was going to be definitely reading this evening. My debut novel, Bella, which is out right now with Wild Pressed Books. The link is below. And I'm going to give a couple of very short sections from the novel. This first one is in the voice of Bella and her ghostly, haunting musings as she's stuck in the woods. Memory is difficult. I can barely piece it together. I can see the tree and I can sense the woods, all the filthy dusk of it. But memory is difficult. Memory is difficult when you're dead. There's no sense of self or space or time, just a sideshow of fragments. I can see the tree and I can sense the woods. There's lust and moisture, kisses and touches. Memory is difficult. I can see the tree. It sits thick and squat. Dry skin warts over every inch of trunk and branch. Mosses creep in cracks of bark. I see brown, umber, khaki, tan. It's too heavy for itself, too heavy for the soil, ripped, sucking at roots. Covens of fungi pitch plots about the base. Lovers' words etched in by penknife strokes. Sap still spitting from the new tattoos. She wrote our names in there, but memory is difficult. I can sense the woods, all the filthy dusk of it. Our tree sits thick and squat in barren mud, fenced off by a circle of brackens and beech. Back from here are barely visible paths, beaten down by footprints of us who need seclusion. You cut through brambles, nettles, foxgloves that nest in dead bell pits. Currents of brown and green breed from clay-brine spars. She led me by the hand through here. Memory's difficult when you're dead. It's the click-snap rustle that ferrets in echo claps through these woods. You don't see the birds and rodents, but they're here. A newt plops unseen. Adders coil under piles of wood limbs. They see you as you step away from others. There's lust. She held my hand as we stepped to the tree, rubs a thumb along my finger to reassure. Each step speeds the heart. She knows the way despite the dark. You still sense Saltwell's lush. She led me by the hand to that circle of bracken and beech. There is lust and moisture, kisses and touches, here against the wych elm. This is where she led me. I see the tree and I sense these woods. I'm still here. You call me Bella. And I'm going to finish with a short extract, which is in the. I guess it's, if there is a protagonist, it's this character, and it's Michelle. And this comes for about 30 pages in of the novel. Jem, Nan, me, we all had to deal with being talked down to. I remember meeting a lad from Guildford back when. He'd come down to slum it in Netherton one night with a chap he'd met at Birmingham Uni. Carrick was getting on at this point, but he still gave him a kicking for taking the piss on how he spake. I remember lying in bed later that night, thinking of all the witty things I could assure him up with. Esprit d'escalier, the French call it. I'd have told him that the way we spake is from the Germans and Vikings, so it's predated his proper English, so he can do one back to Surrey. When we met up in our 20s, he said he knew about Bella. Tim would always be looking up to check who was listening. He'd check his nails. He still wore black nail polish, then check who was in earshot. But he wore bothered who was. He wore never bothered if anyone gid him the eye. None of our lot had come down from Stourbridge. Tim was still really into Blake all these years on. He'd witter on about higher planes of consciousness and communing with nature and all that hippie bullshit them cranky, scruffy wannabes used to dress up their selfishness. I've never met an hippie who did anything other. I remember a wench on holiday once said had been to Goa and found herself, and it was all righteous about yoga and macrobiotic and everything. And I made a real point about how we should all love each other and step away from material wealth and stuff. Jem had said enlightenment's all well and good, but a day by around all night and I smoked all the fat girls' fags, the bitch. I knew a couple of wenches on the Delph run, big dykes who'd knock anyone's head off if you said anything, or they said you scowling. Jem worked with them up at the 10th when I was 18, and they helped us home a couple of times when we'd gone past closing time. We was different to them, and Quarry Bonk separated us, which meant a lot back then, but they was solid wenches who looked after you. Jem's our sister, and yo am too now. I still said Rich about. He still kept hisself to hisself. When he left school, he got a job at Corngreaves Golf Course. It were a club, anyone could go. He'd have to be a member or wear saff trousers. I think the kids round Ayleshowen or Collygate used it like we used the cut, more than anyone actually playing golf. It was another of them places in between. One of them places had grass and trees and mud just out of sight. Linking the flats and houses to the industrial estate. Rich cut the grass and looked after the place. He always loved nature and that. He'd spend his week tending the golf course, his weekend tending his allotment. It was his dad's, I think, but Rich liked it more. Now when me and Jem and our lot am dancing on the pool table and lining up shots, Richie's talking of vegetables. Of course, stand petit pois. Give me a marrow fat. Them the best ones. Fucking king of the pays, the marrow fat. Thank you very much. This was for City Voices. Sad that it's not happening tonight. And this is Bella. Link below to buy. Thank you very much for listening.